Hey guys, so I've spent a lot of time yesterday looking over the comments that you guys have put into my video about the Loa-On. And I've also spent a lot of time looking at other people's sentiments and thoughts on the Loa-On as well, and have seen a huge divide in positive versus negative response. Some people absolutely love the updates that they're presenting to us, and some people are like, no, this is the worst thing ever. This doesn't change anything. I am quitting Lost Ark, right? There is a huge divide in the opinions about the Loa-On, and I think it makes sense because this is a big change, a big step forward, or some people say a step backwards, but it's a big change overall to the way that our game works, and a lot of people are going to be unhappy about the changes because nobody really likes change, right? But for me personally, I think that this change was something that was necessary and will be good for the game overall going forward. But I'm not going to be talking about that in this video today. I want to talk a little bit about why I think people are unhappy, like the specific parts that I've seen in my comments about people being unhappy, and also address some of those concerns here with what I think is going to happen. So let's dive into it. So first of all, I think that a lot of people are unhappy because this is kind of like a moving goalpost. Like we felt like we were heading towards the finish line. We were about to hit the finish line. A lot of people were hitting their level 10 gems. A lot of people were maxing out their weapons, 25. And then, doing all these things to upgrade their characters. And they're like, well, they just basically are like, hey guys, all that work that you put into your character in the past 2 years, you know what? It's not the end game anymore. It's not the best anymore. We're adding another layer to it, another tier to it. And a lot of people are feeling like, well, this investment that I made in my character, I thought I was about done, but I guess I'm not. And what does that mean for the work that I've done in the past 2 years? Well, to that, I'd say that I definitely see where you're coming from. There's a lot of people out there who want to see their character finished. They want to have every achievement checked off. They want to do every single thing and be like, all right, I have gotten 100% completion, gotten that Steam achievement, let's go. And to that, I'm like, okay, definitely for those people, that's really unfortunate. But I think that for me, the reason why I play MMOs is because I want to always have something to work towards. Why am I doing dailies every day? Why am I doing this repetitive stuff every day that some people see as homework? A lot of people see as homework, right? If it's not that fun. Well, I think the fun part of the game is using that hard work that I've done to put it in my character and making it stronger. And the worst thing for me, and this is me personally, as a person that loves Korean MMOs, is that seeing a character hit the end point and being like, well, what is there to work towards anymore? I guess I could spend 1,000,000 gold to try to roll the perfect bracelet and increase my damage by 0.5%. Like, to me, that is really boring. And at that point, I would probably drop the game because there's nothing really to work towards. My character's done. And all I can do is sit there and wait for the next vertical progression system to make it so that my character can actually continue to grow stronger. Because that's what I play the game for. I play the game so I can progress my character, make it stronger, and make it do more damage. And if there is an end in sight for me, that's not really what I want. So that's where I'm coming from with this topic, and that's why I see this as a big win, because it's more stuff for me to work on with my characters, and more places for me to grow, and more ways for me to continue having fun with the game. Now, the second big topic that people are talking about definitely has to do with RNG vertical systems. It's like, well, they're just adding more RNG vertical systems into the game. Like now accessories, we have to roll them like bracelets. It's another RNG system. Whereas before it was a guaranteed system that we can get just by, getting the accessory. And to that, I'd say it's not really that much different. There is one difference though, and I'll go over that a little bit later. But if you think about it this way, instead, like there was always RNG involved with accessories. You drop the accessory and 99% of the time it's garbage. And you have good RNG one day and you finally get a good accessory that drops. Is that not RNG? I'm pretty sure that's really big RNG. It's just that now, instead of the RNG coming from whether or not the accessory drops, the RNG is coming from whether or not you are able to roll the accessory. The one thing though is that the rolling process will take gold, and that is another gold sink. And that is definitely a negative part about this system. But I would say that we need to hold our judgments for just a little bit, because this accessory change, I think, is actually an overall win as opposed to an overall L. Now, the first thing we have to think about, right, is do these accessories really make that big of a difference in our damage? Like, what percentage of our damage does this make? And how easy is it to achieve? For example, like a bracelet, right? Getting a good one-line bracelet isn't all that hard. Getting a one-line bracelet is not all that hard, and it will carry you to the end game. Now, you will do more damage with 2 lines, 3 lines, right? But a one-line bracelet is totally fine. 2 stats and 1 line. And we're fine with that. It doesn't take much rolling. So it's the same with these accessories. How much total damage will it add, and how easy is it to get a large percentage of that damage? If it's not that hard, then it's actually a good thing, because accessories were extremely hard to find. Like a good accessory. How often do you find an actual good accessory from your raids, from your chaos engines? For me, maybe once a month, if at all. And the thing is, with these accessories, people are saying that it's kind of like bracelets, but I'd say it's not like bracelets, because with bracelets, you can't buy a good bracelet. You have to roll it yourself. But these accessories, you can actually go onto the market and buy something good. And I think that is good RNG, in my opinion. I think that being able to be like, okay, you know what? I don't want to deal with these RNG systems. I don't want to gamble it. I just want to go out and buy the thing outright. Being able to make that choice is a good RNG system. It exists in every single game. Like, if you don't want to go farm a boss for a good drop in World of Warcraft, you can just go and buy it on the market, right? I think that that is essentially the same thing as these accessories. If you don't want to go farm an RNG, the accessories, which, getting a drop from a boss is RNG, you can just go and buy it from the market. And I think that that is really good. But again, we'll have to see how hard or how easy it is to actually get a decent amount of damage from our accessories. Let's say the accessories overall give us 50% increase in damage, and rolling something that'll give us a 35%, 40% increase is like very easy, right? That could be totally a thing, and actually only going to 50% is the part where you really have to spend a lot of money. So that's something I want to withhold judgment from, and encourage you to do so as well, because we just don't know at the moment. Now, those are the 2 areas that I think that people have really been criticizing: the addition of RNG with like accessories and kind of making it feel like there's a moving goalpost. Now, I'm going to throw in a counter argument to you guys about the RNG systems. I actually don't think that they're adding more RNG systems. I actually think that they're adding maybe 1 or 2, right? I might have missed something other than the accessories. I don't know. But I think that rather than adding more RNG systems only, they're actually taking away a lot of RNG systems. For example, let's take a look at the stones. Now that engravings, well, actually, let's just take a look at engravings first, right? Engravings are now tied to books. And that means it is pretty much 0 RNG outside of dropping the book, right? You can go buy the books in the market. Outside of that, there is pretty much no RNG when it comes to getting a functioning character with a full 6x3 engraving setup. You're going to eventually get it if you spend enough gold on it and buy it from the market. And that, I think, is one of the best changes ever, because right now, if you think about it, when you play a character, are you ever in a situation where you're like, I have a 3x3 character, I'm just going to go run that shit in like the latest raids? No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be able to do that, to be honest. People are going to gatekeep the shit out of you, right? But with this new system, it's basically 0 RNG to actually get a functioning character. And once you invest in it once, you'll be able to do it forever, because those books are transferable within your account. It's permanent, right? It's shared across all characters. So if you finish all your books, all your characters that you make going forward are going to have 6x3 engravings. And that means that your alts going forward are all going to be able to be functioning. Right now, the problem is when you hit like 1540, right? Let's say you just honed all the way up. Well, in order to have a functioning character, you need to spend the fions on the accessories. You need to spend time cutting a stone and money cutting a stone. Now you don't have to worry about that. You just have that right off the bat, you know, and even before that, like tier 3, right? You just get that stuff for free. But let's just say you want to take your character to tier 4, right? Well, when your character gets to tier 4, you have that all set up and you have a functioning character that you can play right off the bat without worrying. Yes, it might not have the additional damage that, like, accessories provide or things like that. But at the same time, I think that, judging by the way the game has worked in the past, having a functioning 6x3 is probably the bare minimum requirement for actually going into raids and doing this content, at least the entry level content. Having all that min-max stuff is probably not really that necessary unless you're really looking to like cruel fighter in every fight, right? And on top of that, the stones is a huge RNG piece that people have been, annoyed at for so long. They hate rolling stones, they hate fions, they hate all this stuff, right? Well, if we look at stones now, one of my friends actually did the calculations for what they think stones will be like. And they said, this is a 9-7 holder. And he's like, dang, you know what kind of sucks? 9-7 stones and 7-7 stones, the damage differential between them is literally like 1 point something percent. Right now, the difference between a 9-7 stone and a 7-7 stone is 5%. So basically, it makes it so that going forward, 9-7 stones aren't going to be as important anymore because they just don't add that much more damage to your character anymore, which is why I was also saying with accessories, we need to hold off and really hold our judgment because we don't know how easy it is to roll good stats on those accessories. And if we can get, like, let's say a 7-7 stone equivalent on an accessory fairly easily, then it's really not that bad that this new system exists. So now that they're reducing RNG with accessories for the engravings to make your characters actually function, and also reducing RNG with the stones because you don't actually need a very, very high stone to do good damage. Next, bracelets. Instead of being a situation where you click on a bracelet and you're like, oh shoot, I got a decent line, do I really want to keep going forward? You can now be like, oh, well, I'm just going to click on that button because now I can just keep the old stats if I think the new stats suck. And that's another reduction in RNG. You don't have to worry about clicking that and randomly rolling something garbage that's worse than what you have currently. You can actually take all your bracelets to the end and take them all to the maximum taps, even if you get something decent at the beginning and you're like, shoot, I don't want to give this up. Well, you don't have to give it up anymore. You can actually just keep going without worrying about that. So that's another reduction in RNG. Another thing is weapon quality tapping. We now get weapon quality pity, which we've been asking for so long. I don't know why people are pissed off that they're adding more weapon quality and now giving us a pity. I think that, yes, it kind of sucks for those who have invested a lot into their weapons getting 100 quality or something like that, or their armor is getting 100 quality. But at the same time, this happens. Things become obsolete in games. Things that you spent a lot of time, a lot of money in every MMO eventually become obsolete because there's always going to be new systems. There's always going to be new vertical progressions. This is not unique to Lost Ark. This is in every single game. When they update the content, better stuff's going to come out, and then you're going to have to upgrade your gear. It just is the way of life. It's the way of these MMOs. So they're upgrading it. They're making it so that we have more quality to work for. But at least this time around, there is a pity system, which, again, we've been asking for a long time. And kind of on that same topic, a lot of people are annoyed that their level 10 gems and stuff are decreasing in value. Well, again, this happens every single time there's a new update, a new tier update, a new level of progression, right? It's happened in tier 1, it's happened in tier 2, it happened in, now it's happening for tier 3. It's just a natural progression of things. And, it's not that you lost all that value. It's just that, you got your value out of it, and eventually that value depreciates. It's kind of like buying a car in many senses. I don't know, but it's happened in our game multiple times. Like, at the beginning of tier 3, accessories, materials, everything used to be super expensive. Books used to be super expensive, but now they're all pretty dang cheap compared to before. Like, it even happens within tiers. When a new update comes out, things are expensive, and then eventually they start dropping in price. So that's just the natural progression of things. It's no different than the beginning of a new content, the beginning of, let's say, like Brel honing mats into a con honing mats. Like, your Brel honing mats become depreciated, they're worth less, and then your con honing mats are worth more. That's just how these games go. And some people are saying, well, okay, is there really much of a point to continue grinding right now, doing my dailies, doing my raids? Yes, there is, because as per usual, they're probably going to have a way for you to convert your old materials into the new materials. It's happened every single tier. It happened every single time. There has been a hard reset, a soft reset. There is a way for you to upgrade your materials. So you can keep doing your dailies, keep doing your raids, and it's still worth it. You're still getting value out of it. And then lastly, I do have to say, for the elixirs and transcendence changes, that was a little bit of a bummer, as I mentioned in the last video, that they did not add a lot of quality of life stuff to that, make it easier to do, make it faster to do, whatever, right? But at least they are giving us double mats and making it so that it's half as expensive. So giving us more opportunities to roll and making it cost less. It's not a fix per se, but it technically is kind of like a pseudo way of reducing RNG because they're giving you more rolls, right? So more rolls equals more chances to roll the dice, which kind of, in a sense, kind of reduces the amount of RNG. Like, if you had, let's say, a character that could do guarantee you hit pity every single time for super cheap, right? There's, that's a reduction in RNG. So yeah, but that is the end of my spiel, the end of my rant today. I see a lot of Doomer content, comments, and I just wanted to talk a little about that. So hopefully it kind of alleviates people's sense of dooming about this new update. I know it's change and nobody likes change, but personally, I think that this change is a necessary thing for our game to do well in the long run. I mean, we'll all see when this update comes out and see the numbers, right? Personally, I think it's going to go up, but maybe you guys might not, and that's totally fine. That's your opinion. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. I'm sure it's going to be a war zone down there. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications, and also I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MeSelectShrew, starting at 10 p.m. PST. So hopefully I see you guys there. But if not, hopefully I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys. Peace out.